All right, Alice Cinema, created by she, her, continued by he, him. How we doing out there? Good, great, grand, and wonderful. Oh boy, we be cooking right now, bruh. We be cooking. I think an episode a day, shit, I won't be able to keep that up, so don't get your hopes up. It's an impossibility. It's an impossibility, but my OCD kicked in, and I was like, God damn, I have to fucking stop. I have to stop just dragging my feet, procrastinating. I don't give a good goddamn if life intervenes. You stay till the job's done, and we got so much more. In fact, as I'm talking to you right now, even though we're doing this one, I think I have, 29 more films to do. 29 that I didn't ask to do. And that's fine. It's fucking fine. You agree to do something, you fucking do it. I was about to say that actions speak louder than words, but considering how this is a podcast, the worst podcast in the history of podcasts in terms of how it's run, quality of the show, content, it is the goddamn worst. But I actually need to speak on this, so I can't just... The actions aren't going to entertain you. Speaking is... Hopefully, I don't see how. There's so much more entertaining shit that you could listen to out there. That said, maybe I can make you smirk every now and then. As you see on your screen, your dial, however you are unfortunately choosing to join me today, The Hills Have Eyes. The Hills Have Eyes, the OG, which actually, after watching this one, I should have fucking prepared for, or if I had the time, what I would have fucking done is I would have did this one, and then the Alexander Aja remake from 2006? Is it 2004? Is it 2006, gang? I don't remember. Because I fucking thought Alexander Aja, I didn't think The Hills Have Eyes 2, the sequel to the remake. It was whatever, but I thought Alexander Aja's is just as good, if not better. And, I go back and forth because, the OG from Wes Craven, you got to think in 1977 when this motherfucker came out, I can't even imagine the static that Wes Craven brought on himself. Especially, I believe he was coming off The Last House on the Left, which I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just guessing. But it's almost just like, well, I guess we're just going to be fucking with people now. We're just going to make people upset because, it doesn't matter what you do in this world. You're always going to have some fucking Karen that's like, oh, and some fucking Todd. I don't know. The Todd that's just like, well, not in my home. Oh, well, whatever, Todd. And why is the carpet all wet, Todd? I don't know, Margot. It was a bad impression. So, Arrow Video releases The Hills Have Eyes on 4K, baby. So, the transfer's great, but did I miss the part where the disc had a defect on the theatrical version? Because we get to about 9 minutes left in the film, 10 minutes left of the film, and the shit just freezes. I actually had to finish watching this on Tubi. I don't know if I should have made that statement, given that I am promoting it for... it's nonetheless true. Or, it's my stupid piece of shit Blu-ray player, which is also a possibility. It's a few years old now. I'm getting real concerned on if... they're going to continue making the Blu-ray players, because I know, didn't Samsung tap out? Somebody tapped out, and I'm starting to think, like, if we start narrowing it down, like we only have like 2 or 3 brands that we can go to. I don't like that. Even though I would probably stick with those 2 or 3 brands. Horror master Wes Craven achieved critical and commercial success with the likes of Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy is my favorite horror icon of all time, if any of you guys wanted to know. I don't understand why we are not on a Nightmare on Elm Street 907, because in terms of the dream landscape, gang, there should be no short of ideas. Anyway, Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street, but for many genre fans, the director's seminal 1977 effort, The Hills Have Eyes, remains his masterpiece. I would love to. Why did I just Tim Allen right there? I would love to pick the whore crowd's brain on that one, because I'm sure a lot of you fucking nerds, and I call you fucking nerds because you are easily the most toxic genre fan out of anything. More toxic than Marvel, more toxic, you name it. You are the most toxic fan. Having said that, I think I would be entertained at listening to you guys fight back and forth about which Wes Craven film is the best. What's your favorite, Sean? I don't fucking know. Maybe Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Oh my God! That's what some horror fan just did. What? Wes Craven's New Nightmare? What about? Nah, yeah, I know. I don't know. Like, in terms of, I would have to really sit down and think about it. But I would be more, but because I don't care. Because I think that you can just like things and you don't have to, like, rate them. Not that, by proxy you don't end up doing that. Yeah, excuse me. It's an inevitability for you not to rank, I get that, but I try not to do that anymore. I try to just, I answer in experiences. Yeah, had a good time. I most of Wes Craven's work I enjoy. So Freddy's my horror icon. So, you would think, is it shocking that I say Wes Craven's New Nightmare? But Sean, what about the OG? Shut your mouth. How about that? I mean, it's good. It's really good, but fucking Wes Craven's New Nightmare is fucking meta, bro. It is, I love the premise of Wes Craven's New Nightmare. That said, I would have to look at his catalog closer and see which one, sticks out. But off the top, not without doing any notes, that's the one that sticks out. Anywho, following on from his notorious 1972 directorial debut, The Last House on the Left, Craven's The Hills Have Eyes stand alongside the likes of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Night of the Living Dead as one of the defining classics of American horror. You want to hear something fucked up? This is the first time I've ever watched the OG Hills Have Eyes. Oh my God. I mean, I've seen it 10, 15 years ago. But like, I don't know, if you've been listening to the show lately, anything that I've seen 10 years or more at this point, it's mine as well. Like, I've never seen it, because when you watch as much as I do, I am starting, and I've also mentioned this on the podcast before, the images are starting to fade, and that, some of you may, it's because you're old as fuck. Fuck you. I mean, yes, but also, no, most people don't watch 10 new films a year. A year, gang. I have watched 10 new films in 5 days. So, if I had seen this one, I remember, I was just like, oh, it's fucking Pluto and fucking Papa Jupiter and Mars and Mercury. But, of course, I feel like it's a memory in my brain, but I can't say for a certainty. So, watching this one, I was like, I don't remember any of this. In the parts that I do remember are the parts that I'm remembering from Alexander Ajax. So, but if you guys have not heard of The Hills Have Eyes, let's talk about it for a brief moment, and let's talk about this absolutely packed with bonus features from Arrow Video with this 4K release. Taking an ill-advised detour en route to California, the Carter family, headed by Big Bab Carter, talking like he kind of sounds like he's from Chicago, but really he's from Cleveland. Anyway, the Carter family soon run into trouble when their RV breaks down in the middle of the desert. Stranded, the family find themselves at the mercy of a group of monstrous cannibals lurking in the surrounding hills. With their lives under threat, the Carters have no choice but to fight back by any means necessary, and let me tell you, they do. But not before people get fucked up along the way. So, first and foremost, who are our players? Sean? You told us about our writer-director, Wes Craven, and you have ruffled the feathers of horror fans across the globe by saying Wes Craven's New Nightmare is maybe your favorite Wes. Maybe, you fucks. Do you listen or you just read headlines now? Maybe my favorite Wes Craven film. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Yes, Scream is good. But I think Scream is better due to it ushering in a new game. I can't, a new wave of horror, if you will. The more I watch the old Scream, it's fine. I don't hate it. It's not like I've seen it, 20, 30 times now, and it keeps on getting shittier and shittier. That said, I have seen, A Nightmare on Elm Street or Dream Warriors or, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I've seen that equally as much, but I feel like I'm a little bit more entertained. I feel like I'm a little bit more entertained with those than, say, Scream. And I know I'm just pissing people off left and right because I know most of yous are excited for the new Scream. And so here's how I'll tell you. Will I see it? Yes, I will. Do I really give a shit? No, not really. I mean, I like other stuff. I 100% I will see it. Will I go out to the theater and see it? I don't know. I mean, fuck, I haven't even seen No Way Home or Nightmare Alley yet because of this shit, because of all this shit. I can't, Nightmare Alley and No Way Home, I think, are like $2.50, $2.40 a piece. I could not in clear conscience go do that while I have, shit like this waiting for me at home. It's just, that's not a smart play. You stay till the job's done, and sometimes you make sacrifices. Thank you for your service. Our players, Big Bob Carter, played by Russ Grieve. He looks like a Russ. I'm not shocked that his name is Russ. But they're all the cast members are actually pretty good. Like, I kept waiting. I mean, if you held a gun to my head, maybe Bobby would be the weakest link. I forget where I heard weakest wink, and I just started laughing at the guy. But maybe Bobby, played by Robert Houston's the weakest link. But I almost feel wrong saying that because that's how good everybody are. I think maybe it's when he starts to cry once he tells. So he's been sitting. You know what? We'll get there. We'll get to where I was annoyed with Robert Houston. So Russ Grieve plays Big Bob Carter. Virginia Vincent plays Ethel. Isn't that a lady who was born in the fucking 30s? Isn't that a 30s lady named Ethel? Shit. Susan Lanier plays Brenda. I tell you what, Brenda is annoying and comes on strong at the end. She's a fucking problem. She's a fucking problem from an annoying standpoint. She's a fucking problem where you might not want to fuck with her. In my notes, it just says, Brenda is a problem. Robert Houston plays Bobby. Dee Wallace, the good old Dee Wallace, plays Lynn. Her husband is played by Martin Spear, who plays Doug. The best outfit in the entire movie, and that mustache made me feel things. That's how good that goddamn mustache was. I wanted a ride on the mustache, if he would have allowed it. James Whitworth plays Papa Jupiter. Probably the craziest out of the monstrous cannibals lurking within the hills. He's also the general, the head, the captain, the chief of all these cannibals. Cordy Clark is Mama. You don't see her too much. She's just a drunk. She's just a dumb drunk. I mean, hateable, but you don't see her a whole bunch. Lance Gordon as Mars. I'm coming back for you, lady. I'm coming back for you later, girl. I think I didn't remember his voice watching this. Like I said, if I have seen it 10, 20 years ago, I don't remember Lance Gordon's voice as Mars, but I was just like, Jesus, I could step in and do this right now. I know. The fucking typical delusional fuck that I am. I was like, you need a monstrous cannibal. Let me step in. Where's my DeLorean? Where's Doc Brown? Fuck, where's Marty? Michael Berryman is Pluto. His face is synonymous with this fucking film. And in some of the bonus features for this, it is really awesome to hear him speak. And I've heard him speak before, but I just feel like I need you guys to know. So the man that you see on the cover and in the photos that I will post when I make the post, you've seen his face before. And I just love hearing him speak. He is very soft-spoken, a very intelligent man. And obviously, us fat fucking piece of shit Americans only judge a book by its cover. So if you're not a big film fan, and if you're not a film fan, you probably wouldn't know who Michael Berryman is. I would say more often than not, it would have to interest people just to be like, wait a minute. So the guy that did the non-consensual in Hills Have Eyes, that's how he speaks? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And speaking of non-consensuals, I just got... it's so funny because, I don't know if I gnawed off too much of an edible. That ain't true. I can't. I made a I made a stance a while back. No more edibles. It's fucking too much. But if I had gobbled up a bunch of edibles and decided to continue, if I did I Spit on Your Grave. I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu, and The Hills Have Eyes, and I was on edibles. I may have never come out of it because I completely forgot. And as it was about to happen, I'm like, oh, fuck, that's right. I remembered the uncomfortable scene in the Alexander Aja one. And I, of course, once the Pluto Brenda non-consensual scene started happening, I was like, oh yeah, fuck, I remember that. Gang, if you've listened to the 2 previous episodes, this is not how I like to get down. You can show me the blood and guts all day. Anything sexually violently sexual, I'm just not, I don't know. There's got to be something that makes me feel uncomfortable, right? I can't go full desensitized because if I do that, that's how serial killers are created, gang. And I don't want to do that. I have to have a limit. I have to have a line. I have to have a boundary. And thankfully, though, Wes Craven's much more of a traditional filmmaker than, say, me or Zarchi. So it was a little easier on me as opposed to I Spit on Your Grave, the OG, and Deja Vu, Camille Keaton and Jamie Bernadette. Nevertheless, I was still like, oh, fuck, this is happening? Shit. All right, let's talk a little bit about the bonus features and the movie, just a little bit. So, wouldn't you know it, out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, I think it was in Victorville or something, I don't know, they were in the Mojave when they shot this. Anyway, the first few things we see is just a desolate town, even a tumbleweed, yes, an actual tumbleweed blows across the road. We meet an old man named Grandpa Freddy. Which I was like, oh, his name's Grandpa Freddy. Great. This is before Nightmare on Elm Street. I love it. And, Freddy's getting to leave. He's an old-ass man, and he is ready to get the fuck out of this desolate town. He's had it. As he's about to leave, he encounters it just looks like a woods person. It just looks like a lady of the woods. Sneaks up on him. Her name is Ruby. She looks like a child of a bear or something. She just looks like she came out of a fucking cave somewhere. Rightfully she did. She did, actually. But she's looking to trade. And Grandpa Freddy says, I'm not trading with you anymore. I got state troopers that are coming on to my property. I got the Air Force flying over here. So he's inferring that wherever Ruby and these other people that he speaks of, the group, may be up to no good. So it was real early on in the film that we were like, oh, so wait a minute, we haven't even met the goddamn family yet. We haven't met Big Bob Carter and Ethel and Brenda and Bobby and Doug and Lynn and the whole. We haven't met any of it. We haven't met Beauty and Beast. They're dogs. Dags. Yeah, I like Dags. But yeah, we haven't met Beauty and Beast yet, who are just as big as characters as any of the other folk in here. But anyway, he says, I'm not trading with you. I'm not trading with you. I ain't got shit for you, and I'm fucking out of here. So just so you know. And Ruby, almost without missing a beat, she looks concerned. She's like, actually, can you fucking take me with you? And the old man just laughs in her face and is like, no, because Papa Jupiter in the game. Actually, he asks her flat out. He's like, does Papa Jupiter know that you're here and that you're asking me this shit? And, of course, she's like, no, because Papa Jupiter is, well, I'm not going to say he's a sane man. I'm not going to say he's a nice man. So she looked she doesn't look comfortable in asking Grandpa Freddy, the old man, if she can come along. Somewhere around there, we hear some talking outside, and actually Grandpa Freddy thinks it's the state troopers snooping around again, so he shoves Ruby in a fucking closet and goes out. However, it's Big Bab Carter. It's Big Bab Carter. He just needs a chop-off of some gasoline and some oil. And the rest of the gang, it is a station wagon, country road. That's what it looks like. That station wagon looks straight out of fucking National Lampoon's Vacation. And it's got a trailer attached to it, an RV, basically. And so we meet Big Bob Carter. We meet a bumbling Ethel who is just babbling left and right. We meet Lynn. We meet Brenda. We meet Dougie. We meet Bobby. And we meet the Dags. And as the gang gets out and stretches their legs, right out of the gate, Doug and I believe Beauty, the dog, it's either Beauty or Beast, but something's going on your property. Somebody's out there lurking. And ultimately, to no avail, but you do see a Mad Max dress motherfucker ducking for cover, and of course, dumbass Doug and Beauty knows something's going on, but dumbass Doug doesn't spot anything. What else we got here? So they get their gas or whatever, and obviously, Grandpa Freddy. Grandpa Freddy asks where they're going. Actually, no. I realized somewhere along the way, this whole thing, and I don't mean to blame a woman. Okay, this whole thing is Ethel's fault. One, they're looking for a silver mine that's supposedly long. It's a myth now, but they're searching for this silver mine, and for their silver anniversary. I meant to Google that. I don't even know what the fuck a silver anniversary is, but basically Ethel's going to get some silver, and I think Bob and her are going to renew their vows or something. So that's thing number one. The silver mine resides on the back roads where the monstrous cannibals reside, and Grandpa Freddy's like, that mine's been cleaned out. Don't go back there. Nobody goes back to those roads anymore. If anything happens, you're fucked. Just don't go back there. Don't go back there. Please don't go back there. And Big Bob Carter, he's an ex-cap. And he's not going to listen to some old fuck tell him what he can and can't do for his wife. You understand me? Get me a hoagie and I'm going to be out on the water. Now I'm from Philly, apparently. Went from Chicago to Philly to... This is the worst podcast in the history of podcasts. Anyway, the Grandpa Freddy, even as they're leaving, he's like, stay on the main road. Just go to California. You don't need to be. Don't go back there. Of course, they don't fucking listen. They don't listen, so they drive off, right? Well, I can't remember which happens first, but I'm pretty sure this does. Grandpa Freddy's like, well, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And right before he's about to leave, wouldn't you know it, his fucking truck explodes. And you see Ruby and one of the Mad Max looking characters run off into the distance. So Grandpa Freddy ain't going nowhere. And a little side point to that, in the explosion of the truck, there was a little piggy, a nice little piggy, in a cage in the bed of his truck. And, well, he just became a hot dog. A hot dog. Because I don't think he was removed from the bed before that explosion went off. Let's see. Ruby says she didn't do anything wrong. Just came to trade. Uncle Freddy. And his truck explodes. We got that. Because I don't want to ruin too much for you. I don't want to ruin too much for you. But we talked about a family who's out in the middle of nowhere, right? Well, so back to how this whole thing may be fucking Ethel's fault. As they're driving, as they're taking the back roads or whatever. First, Ethel is looking at the map wrong. Like, she is staring. She thinks she's staring at the road that they're on, but they're not on that road at all. In fact, Lynn, played by Dee Wallace, is like that. If the road is on the map at all, it would be a blocked line, not a fucking a blue line. It would be a dotted line. And so she was reading the map wrong, creates chaos in the car, right? As chaos is ensuing in the car about being lost, a jet flies overhead and basically makes everybody in the car shit their pants. Big Bob's like, what in the goddamn hell is going on? The women are screaming, and then another jet comes over, and there's even more chaos. And then at one point, I believe the map gets thrown into the front of because Lynn and Brenda are in the back, and they swipe the map from Ethel. And at one point, during all the chaos, the map flies in Big Bob's face. And he's got to get the map off of his face. And when he gets the map off his face, you want to know what is... So Ethel is the setup, right? You want to know what's the demise for their station wagon and their trailer getting fucked up? A rabbit. He sees a rabbit, and he's like, Jesus Christ! And fucking just swerves off, breaks a fucking axle, and now they're stranded. So, wouldn't you know it, guess what they gotta do? Well, they gotta split up. And I don't know if any of you guys who listen to this show have seen a horror movie where people are out in the middle of nowhere and they gotta split up. It usually ends by the numbers. It does not. It always ends poorly. They don't ever go, hey, I'm going to go this way, you go that way, we'll meet back here. I've never seen a movie where they do that, and then they come back and they're like, any issue? No. Any issue for you? No. Cool. Credits. That's never, I haven't seen that one happen before. But anyway, so this is where our movie begins. Who will make it? There's some brutal death scenes in here. I won't say who. Can I say how, though? Cool. Somebody gets set aflame. Somebody gets set aflame. Some people get shot. Some people get non-consensual. In fact, a little side note to the non-consensual scene between Pluto and Brenda, between Susan Lanier and Michael Berryman. When they did the first take of the non-consensual scene, the curtain to the bedroom in the RV was closed, and actually Brenda, God bless her heart, well, actually no, because I mean Michael's a person. When the camera started to roll and they pulled back the curtain, they were making out passionately. And it was a very love-making scene, which the crew just thought it was hilarious, and everybody got a little bit more comfortable. Because you got to think, especially back then in the 70s, doing a non-consensual scene, nobody's comfortable with it, I think there's always, when you're doing a film like this, and that have scenes specifically like that, I don't care who you are. If you're the artist, the writer, director, you're always going, should I be fucking doing this right now? And that's good. That's good. That means that you're not a psychopath, But when you have somebody like Brenda, Susan, whose idea it was to kind of like break the ice with that, it's just sometimes there are cool people that work in film, right? And that was definitely a smart play because, you know, maybe nowadays, well, I don't know. I feel like we keep going in this weird circle where it's not okay, it is okay, it's not okay, it's okay. But you know, everybody gets a little bit lighter. It's I think Robert Houston, who plays Bobby, he said it best. It's play acting. Like, you're just fucking playing around, and then once you see it all put together, the editing, the score, everybody else's performance, you go, oh, okay. Like, that's what we were doing, you know. What else could I talk about without ruining it? We will get into the bonus features here in a second. I will say one of the scariest top 150 most uncomfortable, scariest sequences of all time is when the monstrous cannibals descend on the RV at night. Yes, this is where the non-consensual scene takes place. However, there is a lot more going on than that. And it is very uncomfortable to watch. In fact, to an extent, I don't know if this makes me look good or bad. To an extent, the non-consensual between Pluto and Brenda is one of the least horrific things. Not in terms of like what is actually going on, but visually what you're seeing. I actually think it's one of the least uncomfortable parts between Mars and Lynn rolling around. Oh, it's just a goddamn well-executed scene for what it is. Like, I just once it finished, and you know, anyway, you'll have to see it to believe it. But tell me I'm wrong that that's not top 100, 150 scariest shit, and it happened 40 years ago. You know, like, it's just say what you want. Well, Wes Craven, we won't see anybody like him again because I think the thing about Wes that's different than some horror filmmakers, the creativity within each scene. Forget about the dialogue that you're hearing, or just in this particular, not that the dialogue isn't important, it is, and he is a good writer. I just think some of the inventive ways that he goes about setting up a scene, it's really good. It's really good. Besides a non-consensual dog dies, which, you know, if we learned anything from John Wick, well, you're going down. You are going down. Speaking of the weakest link, when Bobby sits on the fact that Beauty got killed for like the better part of a day. He doesn't tell the rest of the family because Beauty runs off at one point chasing after one of the cannibals into the darkness, and he finds her murdered, actually disemboweled. And when Mr. Houston gives that scene, watch that scene and DM me, because I was just like, ew, that's, and I understand, like, it's terrible. Like, if my dog were to die right now, I'm gonna be ugly. I'll ugly cry about it as well. But there's just something about it that I was like, ew, dude, that's can we do that? Take two. What's on this bonus feature, or what's on this fucking packed Arrow video release? You got the brand new 4K restoration of the film, viewable with both original and alternate endings. I actually like the original ending more. I mean, after the vicious visuals that you see, it literally cuts to red and says the end. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but it cuts to red at the end. The alternate is your very Hollywood, look at us, we've lost almost everything, but we're all happy now. And I'm not going to tell you who makes it, but the theatrical was fucking so much darker and better, like, and a big sigh of relief as well. Like, I didn't need the fucking, oh, we're hugging and holding hands and we've made a new friend. That's fine sometimes, and then sometimes I just don't. You fucking bore me. Original lossless mono audio, optional lossless 2.0 and 7.1 remixes, only for the original ending though. Limited edition 40-page booklet featuring writing on the film by critic Brad Stevens. And a consideration of the Hills franchise by Arrow producer Ewan Kant. Illustrated with original archives, stills, and posters. Audio commentary with actors Michael Berryman, Janice Blythe, Susan Lanier, and Martin Spear. Another commentary with academic Michael J. Coven. Another commentary with Wes Craven and producer Peter Locke, who has a cameo as Mercury before fucking Beast pushes him off a goddamn cliff. And some featurettes. A 55-minute featurette called Looking Back on the Hills Have Eyes, making of documentary featuring interviews with Wes Craven, Peter Locke, actors Michael Berryman, Janice Blythe, Robert Houston, Susan Lanier, Dee Wallace, and director of photography Eric Saarinen. Director of photography Eric Saarinen. I believe they actually got the cameras that they rented to do this shoot. They got from like a big time porn director, I think. I don't remember. Again, like when I'm watching these bonus features and stuff, I can only write as fast. I can only write as fast as I'm listening about it, because you don't type. No, I don't. I learn better when I write it out, because I'm a fossil. What else we got? Another featurette called Family Business. An interview with actor Martin Spear. The Desert Sessions, an interview with composer Don Peake. I thought the fucking score in this is so good. So creepy. And it's not like overly used, which I like. Like we let some of the scenes play out without the score, which I think pays dividends when the score does come in. You're like, oh fuck, I feel like I need a goddamn shower. You got some outtakes, the alternate ending that I had mentioned. You got a poster. You got an original screenplay, reversible sleeve featuring original and newly commissioned artwork by Paul Shipper. Just remember, in The Hills Have Eyes, the lucky ones died first, mate. The lucky ones. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. Ellis Cinema. Oh. Arrow Video. 4K release. The Hills Have Eyes. So good. Russ Grieve, Virginia Vincent, Susan Lanier, Robert Houston, Dee Wallace, Martin Spear, Brenda Marinoff, James Whitworth, Lance Gordon, Michael Berryman, Peter Locke, Janice Blythe, John Stedman, Cordy Clark. We didn't talk about Janice Blythe enough as Ruby. Ruby was great. The marathon continues, gang.